Allegiance and stay standing for the invocation.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Will you bow your heads with me, please? Loving Father, thank you on behalf of all who are here gathered tonight for your many and abundant blessings. I pray that you would graciously grant us wisdom to govern amid the conflicting interests and issues of our time, a keen thirst for justice and righteousness, confidence in what is good and fitting, the ability to continue to work together in harmony even when there is honest disagreement. Please grant a hedge of protection for our military members and their families wherever they are stationed, and also grant protection for our public safety personnel and their families as they serve our city every day. We ask those things in thy most holy name. Amen.
Thank you, Councilman Campbell. We're all at the dais, so we'll go on to the communications, and we have 3 communication items tonight. The first communication is honoring Joe Husband for his 26 years of service with the City of Phoenix Aviation and the Phoenix Goodyear Airport. Welcome.
Hello, good evening. I'm not Joe, but I'm
No,
Michelle
this
Laurie.
is Michelle.
Sorry about that.
Michelle Laurie, our Economic Development Director, to present to Joe.
Yeah, well, thank you. I'm Michelle Laurie. I'm the Director of Economic Development, and I have the privilege tonight, Mayor and Council, to introduce Joe Husband, who recently retired from his position as manager of the Phoenix Goodyear Airport. Joe is accompanied this evening by current acting Phoenix Goodyear Airport Manager Joel Quinn, as well as beginning later in April, as was brought to your attention in the memo this weekend, the new manager of the Phoenix Goodyear Airport, Brad Hagan. I know I speak for not just the Economic Development Department, but for all of the departments in the city of Goodyear who have worked with Joe Husband when I say we have the utmost respect and admiration for Joe, whose passion for the airport he calls the airport with heart has motivated him through his 7 years as manager. And I'll just stop there and ask Joe and his guests if they would like to come to the podium. And I know that Mayor's has a proclamation for Joe, and we can take some photos and maybe give Joe just a few minutes to speak.
Joe, this is a real honor for me. We've known each other for quite a while, since I've been in the city since 2019. And since my husband loves aviation so well, I met you long before I became a council person. This is a real honor for me. So, for Mr. Joe Husband, whereas Joe Husband has compassionately and diligently served the City of Phoenix Aviation Department for 25 years. Whereas Joe's commitment to and the passion for service to the Phoenix Goodyear Airport community and the stakeholders as manager of the airport for 7 years has been exemplary and inspiring. And whereas Joe's tenured experience included expertise in airport operations, maintenance, administration, planning, while working 6 different divisions and nearly all aspects of the airport management over your career, Joe. Whereas Joe was certified member of the American Association of Airport Executives, Arizona Airport Association, Southwest Chamber of AAAE Aviation Safety Advisor Group of Arizona, FAA Safety Team. Whereas Joe, well, you're a West Valley resident and has resided in Arizona for over 30 years, and you continue to be involved in numerous volunteer charitable organizations, including Sky Kids, which is this weekend, Valley of the Sun United Way, and Arizona Diamondback Charities. Joe, you have demonstrated a continued commitment to fostering successful development through the Phoenix Goodyear Airport, all the while cultivating relationships with the local elected officials, the community leaders, and service organizations and the airport businesses. Whereas Joe's commitment to service, it's an outstanding example of the community spirit which Goodyear seeks to promote and encourage among the citizens. So now, therefore, it be resolved that I, Georgia Lord, the Mayor of Goodyear, Arizona, do hereby present you, Joe Husband, with this proclamation upon your retirement for his leadership, his hard work, and his dedication to the community. In witness thereof, I have set my hand, caused the seal of the city of Goodyear, Arizona, to be affixed to this 10th day of April, 2017. Congratulations. Here, would you like to say anything?
I would very much like to say anything. I don't know what to say. I think first I would say, Mayor Lord and members of council, that this is a great honor, and I'm very proud to be recognized here with the City of Goodyear. You've been great partners throughout my tenure here. I want to, like I said, personally express my appreciation. But on behalf of the City of Phoenix, I'd also like to express my appreciation for the partnership, the support, and the promotion of the airport that we've enjoyed here. It's been, as I said, really a great pleasure, as much as it's been a great honor to serve as the airport manager here. But I did want to thank some folks specifically, and I've had such a great experience with the City of Goodyear since I've been out here. Mayor Lord, all the members of the council, thank you so much. You've been excellent supporters and promoters of the airport, and I so much appreciate that. Mr. Dahlke and Mary and the staff of the city manager's office have also been very wonderful to work with. I want to thank Joe and Karen from the planning group and for the great support that they've given the airport and protecting the airport and the areas around it. I certainly want to thank Chief Louisi and Chief Geyer for working with them and their entire staffs, the police and fire department. I also want to thank Mark and Mark from Public Works and Water. They've been really great to work with. And Ray Diaz, who's been our primary contact over there. And Chris and the Development Services team have been swell. And there are many people that I've probably forgotten to mention by name, and for that I apologize. Michelle and Harry, without a doubt, have been wonderful to work with economic development. So it's been a great experience for me. And as I said, it's really quite an honor to be recognized by the city in which I've served, even though I don't work for this city. The city of Phoenix is very proud of our relationship and our partnership with the city of Goodyear. And I mentioned as I was retiring that almost every day when I'd leave the airport, whoever was on duty there, I'd let them know to take good care of our airport. And when I say it's our airport, it was certainly our airport, but it's certainly our airport as well. So I ask you all to the airport and the community that I love so much to take good care of our airport after I'm gone. I leave you in excellent hands. These gentlemen have my highest confidence that they will do a great job and continue in the things that we started together. So with that, I thank you ever so much. It's a wonderful, wonderful thing that you do here.
Picture time. If
Oh.
you walk right over this corner. Here, let me take it. Council?
So can we talk to him? Can we each say something to him?
Oh, sorry, can't talk.
Excuse me, I'm not running this council meeting tonight. Yes, council, you may absolutely talk to him. Who would like to be first? Councilman Campbell, since you chose to talk, I'll let you have the floor.
Joe, I was very happy to hear that you were going to retire, but I was so sad because you have been such a wonderful partner with us. I have never had you tell me no for whatever I've asked for, and I haven't really asked for much, but you've been such a great partner with our Sky Kids, with our public safety days, with anything that we have put on at that airport, and you have gone above and beyond the call of duty. You have thought out of the box to solve any type of support question we might have or help we needed. And you're going to be sorely missed, my friend, but we want you to enjoy your retirement and just know we love you.
Thank you, Councilmember Campbell.
Thank you. Next, Councilman Osborne. Oh, I'm sorry, Councilman Holman.
Well, I can but echo what Wally said. Joe, you know, that it takes a real partner to make things happen when you're dealing with two entities like you've had to do. Appreciate that leadership, respect that leadership. And like Wally said, you know, we're happy you're retiring. Yeah, really? But
we want to be happy for you, but we do know that your leadership will be missed. Capable hands, we're going to respect what you've said, and we will work with them as diligently and as respectfully as we've worked with you, Joe.
Thank you, Councilmember Holman.
Councilman Osborne?
Joe, you have been an outstanding, strong entity for our airport. And, you know, we've seen where you have really been that person for us and an authority that we could rely upon from the times of change around the airport to sequestration and the whole tower issue. You know, we've had a few things that definitely have been spotlights for you that you worked on, and you worked hard on them. But you also are a man of many talents that, you know, I discovered as we were in a parade and you were the announcer. And so, you know, I know that even though this part of your life is that door is changing for you, but I know with those talents you have, you're going to keep having fun out there, and maybe we'll get to hear those golden tones across the radio somewhere else. But thank you so much for all you've done, and you know, I've always had a comfort knowing that you were in charge over there, and I appreciate it. Thanks.
Thank you very kindly.
Vice Mayor?
I want to say thank you. You have done so much work, not just as a partner between us and Phoenix, but just how you basically took care of that airport and all the growth and everything, and how you helped spearhead it. It's gone amazingly leaps and bounds since you've taken over, and I think you've put that for both us and the city of Phoenix to see it even grow and develop either more, and that's because of all the hard work and time you put in, and you've been such a leader, but not just at the airport and working with, you know, 2 government agencies, but just as you really did care about the people at the airport, the people there, the planes, the operations. You're just a wonderful guy, and we are going to miss you. And I agree with Joanne. Please come back and announce something. I think you were at Sky Kids, weren't you?
I was, yeah.
Yeah, I heard your voice.
Yeah. Thank you very kindly.
So thank you so much for everything you do, and have a wonderful retirement. You deserve it.
Thank you very much, Vice Mayor.
Councilman Vazillo?
Again, Joe, it's not a whole lot to say after all of that, but hey, thank you for all you've done, and I hope your next journey is better than the journey you're leaving. So again, wish you well in the future.
Thank you very kindly.
Councilman Stipp?
Well, it is an opportunity to echo what everybody else has to say, and it was interesting as the mayor was reading the proclamation. Halfway through it dawned on me, you're not a City of Goodyear employee, you know, but we see you here so often, and I think you're the 3rd airport manager that has been on since I came to the city in 2001. Certainly the longest serving. Am I correct? Correct me on that one.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah.
Barney was here for 5 or 6 years.
Yeah, Barney was here, and then
just a short time for Art.
Yeah. So it has been an amazing relationship, and people question about the Phoenix Goodyear Airport. And while we don't own it, it certainly feels as though we are a true partner in that, and I think you're leaving a huge legacy for the new airport manager to fill. So thank you for everything. It's been a pleasure working with you, and I look forward to seeing you around the community.
Thank you very kindly, Councilmember.
Now, Joe, would you come up here to this corner and stand there for pictures?
You are the focus, Joe.
I am the focus.
Here, Wally, come over here. Oh, somebody. Here, Wally.
Oh, Bill's gonna.
Yeah, let's Wally.
Here we go.
See.
Is this better? Oh, yes, please.
Thank you so
Oh my gosh. You better stay in touch.
Take care, Joe.
See ya. Oh my gosh.
Held them hostage.
Yeah.
All right. You all set? All right, let's go to the next communication item, and that is a proclamation recognizing Wayne Deffenbaugh, recent receipt of the Rodell Exemplary Principal Award. And so with that, Lauren Valencia, Assistant to the Mayor, will present.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Tonight we have Wayne Deffenbaugh from Desert Thunder Elementary School here to be recognized. And we were going to have Dr. Hargrove, Superintendent of the Avondale Elementary School District, come say a few words about Mr. Deffenbaugh's achievement. After that, Mayor Lord, if you would join Mr. Deffenbaugh here to read the proclamation and then take a few photos, that would be great. Thanks so much.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council. It is my great pleasure to be here tonight for the third time recognizing one of our leaders. And that recognition comes in the form of the Rodell Exemplary Principalship. And I want to share with you how rigorous that process is. The first thing that happens is the school has to achieve a minimum achievement level, which is above and beyond what other sites across the district have achieved. Secondly, they become nominated by a member of our staff. And then third, the nomination is accepted, and then a team from, it is now in the hands of Makisa, comes out and interviews the principal, members of their staff. They spend time touring the campus. They explore systems. They explore what happens on a regular basis to ensure that the continuation of this high student achievement and high expectation is demonstrated. And it is just a great honor to be here tonight to be recognizing Mr. Wayne Deffenbaugh, principal of Desert Thunder School, one of 8 in Maricopa County, one of 8 Rodell Exemplary Principals.
Woohoo.
So if I could please have Mayor come over.
Welcome. Sorry, I missed the ceremony this year, and I've been there before, and I know what an honor it must have been for you and how pleased you were. And it's an honor for me to be able to read this to you. So whereas Wayne Deffenbauer, is that said right? Deffenbaugh? Deffenbaugh. It's a German name, it sounds like. So in German, yeah, an E is an A. So, okay, Deffenbaugh has devoted 25 years of his career to education in Arizona. Whereas 13 of those 25 years have been spent with the Avondale Elementary School District at Desert Thunder Elementary School. And whereas Wayne holds a bachelor's degree in education, well, as well you hold a master's degree in education. Wayne's commitment to the success of students and families in Goodyear and the West Valley is exemplary. Wayne has been recognized by the Rodell Foundation of Arizona as the Rodell Exemplary Principal. Wow, that's pretty special. This outstanding achievement is reserved for principals established in their field with a track record of high student achievement and who serves also as a mentor in high needs Arizona school. Wayne's leadership to and support both his students and colleagues is both remarkable and commendable. Where his selection as a Rodell Exemplary Principal, it is well deserved. So now, therefore, it be resolved that I, Georgia Lord, the mayor of the city of Goodyear, Arizona, do hereby present Wayne Deffenbaugh with his proclamation in recognition of leadership, commitment, investment in faculty, students, and families in Goodyear. In witness whereof, I have set my hand and caused the seal of the city of Goodyear, Arizona, to be affixed to this 10th day of April, 2017. Congratulations. I'm going to do this one right. Council, comments? Councilman Osborne.
Wayne, I am so proud of you, and it truly is an honor to have you in our city. And it's really a great feeling to know that the future of the children that are in your school and have been in your school all these years have something special because you've been an outstanding principal for them. And I thank you so much for being that guiding light and a principal of principals. So I thank you very much for all of that, Wayne.
Councilman, Vice Mayor.
I also want to thank you. We hear so much about how schools have to do more with less. And for you to keep up such a high level achievement for your students is amazing. With all the hurdles that you have to go through nowadays, and I'm sure you've seen it change a lot in your 25 years. So I know I just say it not for me, but everyone in this room, everyone that has a kid in any school, your high level achievement brings us all up. And I think it's great that you're doing that for the kids, and they're our future. And your hard work, and I know you have hard work and dedication to get to that level and get those students where they are. It is just something that, it's for our future. And so I want to say thank you very much.
Councilman Pizzillo.
It almost seems routine for the Avondale School District. You have such great people working for it, and you are molding those future leaders. It's the kids that go through their school. They're the ones that are going to make or break us in the future. So again, thank you for your dedication. Thank you for all the work you do.
Councilman Stipp.
Wayne, Dr. Hargrove, I'm glad that you're here for a third time. I was wondering what the number was. I knew it was more than 2. And I look forward to it again from a district perspective. Wayne, obviously a great achievement. We're very proud of you. We're very proud of the Avondale School District. Your success is a direct reflection onto us, and that helps us become a stronger community as well. So thank you.
Thank you. Any other? Yes, Councilman Holman.
I just want to echo my congratulations. You are in a profession I so admire. Bill, you said it very well. Our young people are the future, and we know that. And so, your talents and your skill in creating a learning environment that excels is extremely impressive, and I thank you. And I thank you, Betsy, for a culture in your district that constantly brings us this exemplary leadership in the Avondale School District. So congratulations to you, Wayne.
Councilman Campbell.
Thank you. I'm just echo what everyone else said, but how exciting that we have one of the 8 in the entire Maricopa County area of all the schools, and there's 1 million schools it seems. But thank you so much for coming tonight and sharing this honor with us. I know how hard you've worked, and I know you didn't work to be called out to be an exemplary principal, because you probably do the same thing day after day after day. And I'm sure that your kids love you and parents love you, and they appreciate all that you're doing for them, because not only are you making them successful, you're making the district successful and our city. So thank you so much, and congratulations, and enjoy this very wonderful honor.
So it's picture time for you. So if you don't mind going to the corner there, Council, you want to move?
I think so too. Yeah, I think it's stuck on my purse. It is. Sorry. We'll put you in the same spot. Okay. Yeah, that's a good idea. I'll get on my perch. Okay, come on in. My stool.
I'm in my corner.
I'm bringing a stool next meeting. Okay. Thank you very much. Congratulations.
spring training. I know. Those are good things. Those are good things.
Yeah. I can't wait for this one. Yay. Bruce.
All right, we're down to 4.3. The last communication item is a summary of the 2017 spring training activities. And Bruce Kessman, ballpark manager, is presenting.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. It's hard to believe that another spring training is already over here in Goodyear. But what a tremendous season it was for us at the ballpark. Another record-setting year for us. Single season attendance record set at 174,369 total fans to the games. And we also set another single game attendance record, slightly above last year's record, 11,624. Of course, that was the World Series rematch with the Indians and the Cubs on March 27th. And with that, you can see our attendance figures as they rise over the course of the last few years here. This year, we realized a 9% increase in total attendance. And how we stack up against the rest of the Cactus League. The Cactus League did set another record this year. More than 1.9 million fans come and visiting Cactus League facilities this spring. With our attendance increase this year, we're one of the highest overall attendance increases across the Cactus League. So pretty proud of that this year. And of course, with the attendance increase, our revenues also increased nearly 20% this year. And that includes the tickets, concessions, team shop sales, parking, sponsorships, and the other miscellaneous revenue that's generated throughout the season. Equates to a little over $1.1 million this year. And how those numbers stack up when you break those down, gross ticket sales rising nearly 21%, as well as average ticket price. Concessions revenues rose 18%. The team shop realized the biggest increase this year, exceeding $1.1 million, a 30% increase. And of course, with more fans to the gates, parking increases as well. But just for spring training alone this year, our sponsorships nearly reaching 360,000, which is the highest we've had to date this year. We've had to add new inventory, and we increased to 85 total ballpark sponsors for spring training this year, up from 58 total sponsors. So how does that break down for the city of Goodyear? Of course, we have the revenue shares, and these are just estimated. We're in the process right now of the final reconciliation process with the teams. With the estimated revenues that we're receiving from the team shop this year, $1.7 million is what our estimated share is, which is about a 27% increase from last year. That also includes approximately $140,000 that was generated from the ticket price increase, which is going to fund the ballpark capital replacement fund. And some of our other season highlights that we had this year, of course, our home run readers program grew to 22,000 bookmarks this year to students in the local area. Bobblehead giveaways were extremely successful, and we're still one of the few ballparks that, or the only ballpark that does giveaways during spring training. The renovation of the right field pavilion with the new bar, the furniture up there was extremely popular, and we received great remarks from that. Of course, the in-game fan experiences, the in-game promotions, and all the fun things that we do during the games still receive those high marks. And this, with the 800 plus in-park surveys that we did this year, even with the growth that we realized with the attendance, we still were able to achieve and attain some of the high marks from the friendliness of staff, which is very difficult to do on a 5-point scale, but most notably the quality of food went up, as well as the overall fan experience. And lastly, of course, spring training is over, but there's still plenty to do at the ballpark. We have summer movie nights coming up. We have the bubble run coming up in a few weeks. Goodyear Little League games are being played at the ballpark, in addition to the city signature events. Regional national baseball tournaments will be starting up here in the next few weeks. And this past weekend, we just hosted the Wolves Classic. The AIA Division 4 state championships will be held in a couple of weeks as well. So lots still to do there at the ballpark. And with that, I just want to take this time just to thank our entire staff that worked tirelessly throughout the entire spring training season, and also like to take the opportunity to thank all the departments that are represented here tonight. Without their support with resources and throughout the entire season, we would not have been nearly as successful if we would.
Well, thank you, and I know the council feels that way, and they're going to want to express that. So I'm going to start down here with Councilman Stipp.
Bruce, I traveled most of the spring, actually most of the month of March, so I did not get a chance to attend any of the games, unfortunately. But it's always a great source of community pride, what we're able to deliver with the ballpark. It's a frequent conversation among people, but when they have the opportunity to go to an event there and to experience the great staff and the volunteers that you have deployed throughout the ballpark, it turns their negative financial view of the ballpark into something very positive. And your staff and yourself, obviously, and I'm sure you've got other folks behind you, but we're going to call you out tonight and say thank you very much for making that such an awesome community asset for us.
Councilman Pizzillo.
Yeah, I was at one of the council meetings, council meetings, ballparks on the evening, and was one of the evening games, and had a great time. Had the whole family there, so the experience was fantastic. I see your numbers are going up. Are we going to see the teams individually? Are you going to have those? I see the stadium, but do we have the attendance per team of the 14 teams where we rank? Because I know we're still trying to get off the snide for the two teams. What I'm hoping is that the Indians maybe jumped a spot or two as a result.
2 spots, yes.
Yeah, so I was just wondering overall how we were out of the 14 teams per team attendance.
Be happy to send you that information.
Okay, thank you.
Vice Mayor Loretano.
I just want to say that the games I attended, you just let your staff know. You and your staff do an excellent job. I'll have to second exactly what they said about the friendliness. Everyone, and that goes to the volunteers too. All of our volunteers, all the staff, everyone's there to help you. People find your seat. It's just a great experience, and I like the fact you still do the just kind of tickets. They come out, try to get people out there. The berm seats. Are we going to keep the since the right field pavilion's done, you move the stuff to like a tent in the left field, like another under the tent? Are you going to keep that for next year too?
The Budweiser Brew House in left
Yeah.
field? Yes, we're going to continue that area over there and try to continue to build on that success as well.
Okay, because I was going to say, every time I walked by there, it looked like there was shade and there were people there, and it seemed like they were enjoying it. So thank you very much.
Councilmember Osborne.
You know, Bruce, it's very exciting when we see the numbers increase, like you've had, the attendance and the sponsorships. But all of that is for naught if you're not keeping up with the outstanding survey responses that you had. Because it's one thing to have those numbers, but you've also kept the fun, the credibility, and everything else that goes with all of that hard work and all of those games. And so, you know, it's wonderful to hear the things increasing, but to me, it's just as important to know that you've kept the standard at quality and high. And so I congratulate you and your team and all of the volunteers that keep us in that position. Thanks.
Councilmember Campbell.
Well, I have a lot of fun at the stadium. I love to go, but I really love to go during spring training. And what I do when I'm not at the stadium, if I see anyone with an Indian shirt on or a red shirt on, I always go up to them and ask, have you gone to our stadium? What do you think of it? And they are all so complimentary. And they're just wonderful stewards to tell me, your stadium is great. We love the people. We have so much fun. The food's wonderful. They love some kind of mustard you bring in. Is that
It's the Bertman's Ballpark mustard.
a Cleveland thing? Oh, they love it. They absolutely love it. But I want to thank you, and I want to thank all of your staff, and I really want to thank police and fire for all that they did for that whole month, because they were there every single day, as you and your staff were, but they attended to so many of our residents and gave them aid or assistance, and folks have been so grateful for that presence. Your volunteers are wonderful. we just expect next year our numbers will keep rising as people have a good time. They're going to keep coming back. And we just want to thank you for all your do. And when are you going on vacation? Soon?
July.
I bet you're ready. But thank you, Bruce, very, very much.
Councilmember Holman.
Well, I think what's very, very impressive is to keep hitting the wrong button with. Anyway, I just, the consistency in the satisfaction, I mean, that is incredible to have that, because you have no control over that except to provide the best service you can. And that's obviously in your the response to your survey. And much like Wally, when I'm out and about and I am talking to people, particularly people not necessarily from our community, that they say it's just their favorite ballpark, that the service is good, the food is good, and they just enjoy being here. And I'm very impressed with the architecture. So much of our stadium is shaded in the afternoon when those afternoons games are being played, and that's a great relief to the fans. So there are a whole lot of things I think that we've done right, and you continue to build on that. And so I say congratulations to you, along with a great thank you to you, the volunteers and staff. But it's a real effort, and it shows. It shows very positively.
And what I'd like to see is a round of applause for the staff, for Bruce, for the volunteers. Let's hear it.
Thank you.
All right, we're going on to the consent agenda. Will the city clerk please read consent agenda items 6.1 to 6.10 by
Mayor,
title
can we
only.
do the citizens' comments first?
Thank you. Now is the time for any citizen who would like to speak on a non-agenda item. We don't have any cards this evening.
No, Mayor.
All right, so we're just going on then to the agenda. Will the city clerk please read the consent agenda items 6.1 through 6.10 by title only, please?
Item 6.1, approve the final plat for El Cedro, Parcel 1D, Phase 1, subject to stipulations. Item 6.2, approve the final plat for El Cedro, Phase 1, Parcel 2, subject to stipulations. Item 6.3, approve the final plat for El Cedro, Phase 1, Parcel 3, subject to stipulations. Item 6.4, approve the map of dedication for El Cedro, Phase 1, 173rd Avenue, subject to stipulations. Item 6.5, adopt resolution number 17-1776, authorizing the establishment of a public street for a section of 173rd Avenue, requiring recordation and providing for an effective date. Item 6.6, accept the dedication of a public utility easement along with a beneficiary consent and subordination on the south side of Virginia Avenue related to the Live Goodyear residential project. Item 6.7, authorize the city manager or designee to execute an intergovernmental agreement with Maricopa County for reciprocal waiving of traffic control permit fees. Item 6.8, adopt resolution number 17-1793, approving development agreement for Estrella Parcel 9.8 regarding the development of approximately 36.3 acres, providing authorization and direction to take actions and execute documents necessary to carry out intention of resolution and the development agreement for Estrella Parcel 9.8 and providing for an effective date. Item 6.9, approve the final plat for Pebble Creek Phase 2, Unit 48, subject to stipulations. Item 6.10, approve the amendment to the condominium plat of the village at Rio Paseo condominium, subject to stipulations.
Thank you. Does anyone from the public wish to remove an item on the consent agenda? Does anyone on the council wish to remove an item from the consent agenda? And God, please have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
I heard a motion by Councilman Stiff and a second by Vice Mayor Loretano. Roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Pizzillo?
Aye.
Councilmember Campbell?
Aye.
Councilmember Stipp?
Aye.
Councilmember Holman,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Loretano,
Aye.
Councilmember Osborne,
Aye.
Mayor Lord,
Aye.
passes 7-0.
We're going to go on to the business. Excuse me. Just to inform you, 7.1 was a public hearing to consider approving Las Brisas Phase 2 pad amendment has been moved to May 8th, 2017. So it has been canceled from tonight's presentation. So we'll go on to 7.2 is to consider the preliminary plat for CENTERRA Crossings Phase 2. Karen Craver, Planner 3, is presenting. Karen?
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, Council. CENTERRA Crossings is at the southeast corner of Estrella Parkway and Van Buren Street, where the new ER facility is. And just south of the ER, you recently approved a restaurant with a drive-through, and staff is currently reviewing the construction documents for that building. CENTERRA Crossings Phase 1 was a minor land division that created the ER parcel, the residential parcel for the Avila development, and the remainder of CENTERRA Crossings as a third parcel. This preliminary plat, Phase 2, divides that third parcel into 5 individual parcels. Parcel 4 is where the restaurant with the drive-through will be built. The preliminary plat creates 5 lots for future commercial development, extends access and utilities, provides secondary access to a villa, and meets all city standards and regulations. Therefore, staff and the Planning Commission are recommending approval of the pre-plat, and we ask that Council approve the pre-plat subject to stipulations. I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you very much. Are there any speaker cards? Would anybody in the audience like to speak? Then can I please have a motion and a second to approve the preliminary plat for CENTERRA Crossings Phase 2, subdividing the existing 7.97 acre parcel 3 into 5 separate parcels located at the southeast corner of Estrella Parkway and Van Buren Street, subject to stipulations. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Second.
I heard a motion by Councilman Stiff and a second by Councilman Osborne. Open for council discussion. Councilman Campbell.
Would you mind going back to the map, please?
This one?
Okay, yes, and you said parcel 4. Okay, so parcel 4 is where the drive-through restaurant is going,
Yes. Yes.
and the proposed 5 and 6 are just being split in half, correct?
Yeah, 5, 6, 7, and then the one on Van Buren Street is also
The
a
number
new
3?
parcel. Yes.
All right, but it just looks like they're splitting one parcel into 5 and 6, the way you have it done here. It's small. They're smaller is what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah, they are smaller.
Okay, and then do they know what they're going to propose to put on there?
It would be additional commercial developments. We don't have any specific user known at this time.
Okay. Could it be a shopping center?
It will likely be individual buildings.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay, so all discussion is finished, so let's vote on it. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you very much, Karen.
You're welcome, Mayor.
So let's go to 7.3 on business to consider approving the final plat for the CENTERRA Crossings Phase 2. Now you're back up again, Karen.
Yes, and I'm so glad you approved the preliminary
Yeah,
plat
I know you are.
Since we're now asking
I'm
you
so
to
glad
approve
you didn't
the
have to go
final.
back to your seat.
This is a new process we're trying out. Typically, the preliminary plat goes all the way through the approval process before we even accept a final plat. And really, the final plat is pretty much just a ratification of the preliminary. The preliminary works out all the details, so we thought, why are we waiting? So we have both on your agenda tonight.
I like that attitude. Are there any speaker cards?
No, Mayor.
Would anybody in the audience like to speak? All right, then can I have a motion and a second to approve the final plat for CENTERRA Crossings Phase 2 subject to stipulations?
So move.
Second.
I heard a motion by Councilman Campbell and a second by Councilman Holman. Open for council discussion. Councilman Stipp.
The only question that I have is, if there's a change, now that we've done the final plat? We have to go through this whole thing all over again?
Well, hopefully, you know, as I said, all the details get worked out during the preliminary plat process. So the only thing that is really different for a final plat is there's some dedication language that gets added on, there's signature blocks. So, you know, unless we were really sure that things weren't going to change, we wouldn't have done this, and we may not do this in every plat, but for ones that are simple and easy and we're sure about, we don't anticipate any problems.
Just curious. Thanks.
Any other questions? All right. Then it's discussion is finished. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You now may go back to your seat. All right, let's go to 7.4 on business to consider modifying the boundary of the Palm Valley PV 303 Foreign Trade Zone Magnet Site. Harry Paxton, Economic Development Project Manager, to present. Hi, Harry.
Hello. Good evening, Mayor and Council. It's my privilege tonight to present to you a request to modify the boundary for the PV 303 magnet site. I think they're pulling it up here. Did you get all that? They went real fast.
So efficient here.
But you can't go sit down yet.
Harry's won the award for the fastest presentation.
There you go. So tonight I want to talk a little bit about the community benefit, some of the current activity in the PV 303 magnet site, and also what that request is to modify that boundary. So you'll recall there's two different types of foreign trade zone sites. For the viewing public, there's a magnet site, which is a geographical area, generally can be several hundred acres. In our case, most of them have been a little over 200 acres, where we have 3 in our community. The PV 303 magnet site was originally 235 acres. Or there's a user-driven site, which is a site in which we've identified who the user is and they're requesting something outside, say, the boundaries of the magnet site. And we've done a few of those in our community. Tonight, what we're going to be talking about is a magnet site where we're looking at a geographical area and teeing everything up for development to come when users come that need a foreign trade zone to operate. You'll recall back in July of 2009 is when we first approved foreign trade zones, and also at that time 235 acres at the PV 303 magnet site. And then February 6th, just a couple of months ago, we gave you an update and also presented this proposal as to discuss with you about modifying the Palm Valley or the PV 303 magnet site. So first I want to just take you through some of the activity that's happened at the PV 303 area. Over 500 manufacturing jobs. We have more manufacturing jobs than we have internet or distribution jobs there. 370 internet and distribution jobs. So about 900 jobs, nearly 1,000 jobs attracted to that area. There it goes again. I don't know what's doing that. There we go. And that's attracted capital investment of $318 million. And that certainly increases property taxes and sales tax revenues to the city, but also, real importantly as well, to the other taxing jurisdictions, probably most importantly to the school districts. Also, the capital investment of a magnet site continues to attract investment. In fact, in the PV 303 area, the most recent spec building, in fact, the only spec building built in our community since 2008, was just completed in February and is now available. A lot of interest in that building as well. That's also the largest spec building that's happened in our community. And if you look at other magnet sites in our community, there's another magnet site along MC 85. That's where a new construction will happen soon on another spec building. Over here, right over by Michael Lewis Company, another magnet site is also attracting interest, and there's in today a planning application for another spec building. So the magnet sites continue to be true to their name. They're attracting investment. One of the things that we did to provide you in considering this proposal was an economic impact analysis performed by the Greater Phoenix Economic Council, or what's known as, what we commonly refer to as GPAC. So they provided us an example of a FTZ project. So, for example, we asked them to consider 400 jobs if we had a company that was considering an FTZ site that paid $18 million in annual salary, the whole payroll. That's about $45,000 per job, and a real property investment about $76 million, and a personal property investment about $110 million. Pretty similar to what Sub-Zero is and what their investment has been. That gives you a 10-year revenue impact summary there, where you can see over a period of 10 years the direct benefits and indirect revenues to the city totals over $11 million. So there's a significant impact. And you can break those down into sales tax, property tax, utility tax, the state shared revenues, and other local revenues as well. So you can see over a period of time there's a significant impact, even though it's a foreign trade zone site. Generally, we're going to attract larger projects to a foreign trade zone site that have a larger CapEx, a larger investment in equipment and property that creates more tax revenue. We also asked them to consider a real world example of a site in our city. So the site there between Sub-Zero and Dick's Sporting Goods, about 29 acres. The tax levy today, since it's not an agriculturally exempt property, it's a little bit higher, about $68,000. But there's not any investment on the property today. It's just a vacant parcel. So we asked them to take that same analysis in terms of a company locating there with those same numbers, and what would be the benefit to the taxing jurisdictions. So you can see the graph there, what the actual taxes are today, and then what they would be assuming the same project located there on that site. And basically what it does, even with an FTZ designation, it generates more than 19 times the property tax than it is today. And that would be even significantly higher if you look at much of the larger acreage that's out there at PV303, which is farmed today, and most of it is agriculturally exempted, which very little tax is collected today. It includes an increase of $153,600 to Goodyear and $115,544 to Maricopa County, and the school districts increase over $600,000 annually. So significant benefit that will provide as we attract investment to the area. And that's just one parcel, one example. So we go back to what we did back in 2009 is if we look at the original foreign trade zone, we had 135 acres there on the west side and about 100 acres on the east side. At that time, especially on the east side, there was really no defined roads other than Cedarville Avenue that goes north and south between Indian School and Camelback, and just really a two-lane country road. Now things are starting to be more defined on the east side. If we have the first spec building being located there that's been constructed in our community since 2008, and also plats have been recorded that shows where the roads are going to be. So that's helping that area track more. And so now is the time to consider increasing that magnet site. So the property owners have asked us to consider this proposal, which would increase it from the original 235 acres by 291 acres, almost 292 acres. So it would be over 500 acres. A good portion of that, about 275 acres, will be on the east side, where we see some of the investment happening today. And then not changing the 97 acres that are there on the west side right against the 303, but also adding the area down south of Indian School, west of Cotton, and that 155 acres there. And so that's the proposal that we have before you tonight. You'll also notice two user-driven sites on there, the Sub-Zero site and the REI site. Some time ago, we had an administrative change to the magnet site, a minor boundary modification to accommodate Sub-Zero in their expansion. And so that at that time, that site was taken out of the magnet site. So our proposal to you tonight is to adopt this magnet site boundary request, which would increase the original 235 acres to a total of 526, really 527 acres today. And that also includes the city's 40 acres at the southwest corner of Cotton Lane and Indian School Road, anticipating that sometime in the future that would become private property, and then that would be on the tax rolls, which is also will be a benefit to the taxing jurisdictions. So with that, I'm here to answer any questions you might have.
Thank you, Harry. Would anybody, are there any speaker cards?
No, Mayor.
Would anybody in the audience like to speak? Will the city clerk then read Resolution 17-1794 by title only?
Adopt Resolution Number 17-1794, approving, authorizing, and directing the city manager to support the application of Sunbelt Holdings to the Foreign Trade Zone Board for the boundary modification of the Palm Valley PV-303 Foreign Trade Zone magnet site, including city-owned property within the City of Goodyear and the Greater Maricopa Foreign Trade Zone Number 277, authorizing city staff to take actions consistent with terms of resolution and providing for an effective date.
Thank you. May I have a motion and a second?
So moved. Second.
I had a motion from Councilman Holman and a second from Councilman Osborne. Open for council discussion. Councilman Stiff. Okay.
Harry, I think it's important that when we talk about expanding these, this doesn't come into play unless somebody qualifies for it.
Thank you, Mayor Lord and Councilmember Stiff. Thank you for asking that question. You're right. What this doesn't do is someone has to come there and they have to activate a site. Certainly, businesses can move, and I do expect over time that businesses will move into the established magnet site that will not necessarily need a foreign trade zone or couldn't qualify for one. And then, of course, their taxes would be on the full tax rolls. So, yes, this does not change any taxes today. A company has to come, and it's only going to be the new investment that would receive a benefit. So we're talking about a net increase before anyone receives a foreign trade zone benefit.
And I think that's really important when we talk about foreign trade zones. It's a great tool for us to be able to deploy as well, they call it a magnet for obvious reasons, but as an attraction. But it's not deployed, if you will, or not used unless they qualify. And I think that's a huge component. We had a pretty intense discussion a couple of weeks ago regarding the properties south of Indian School at Citrus. And I see that is part of the expanded FTZ for tonight. So I want to make sure that we are very clear about this isn't now an incentive or a giveaway, if you will, that only those that qualify can use it.
Yeah, so going back to that map, the area west of Cotton, south of Indian School does not extend all the way over to Citrus.
Oh, it does?
It does not.
There was the map that you had previously that looked like it did.
Yeah, this one had to kind of stretch it out to fit in such a large area. So it doesn't extend all the way over to Citrus. So probably about halfway is where that parcel lands today. Now, it does include the 65 acres that was retail that was also rezoned recently at Indian School west of Saraville on the northeast corner of Loop 303 and Indian School. Sure. But it does not extend, our proposal does not extend it all the way to Citrus or all the way down to what I like to call, when I'm touring companies, that other kind of gated community. So it doesn't extend all the way down there.
Great, thank you.
Councilman Osborne.
Thank you, Harry. This certainly is a great tool that we have, and I'm glad we use it. One clarification question I have, just because I don't remember anymore. When someone does qualify, a company does qualify for FTZ, is there a sunset? I mean, do they have to reapply after 10 years to continue to receive that grading? Or, I mean, is there a point where it's, now you pay regular price? I mean, can you remind me about that?
Very good question. Mayor Lord, Councilmember Osborne. Yeah, a company has to maintain their FTZ status. And so that is reviewed annually by the federal government. And if, at some point they're not meeting the qualifications they need to meet to maintain that FTZ status, and then if they don't correct that, then eventually, they would lose that FTZ benefit, not only the property taxes, but also the reduction in duties that they enjoy from, importing product in a foreign trade zone.
But they could apply as many times. I mean, there is no ending to that then.
They could reapply.
But I mean, if they, for 20 years and they continually get approval, right. I mean, that never ends. I mean, that could always.
As long as they're in business and they are qualified.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Any other questions? All right, let's vote on this. Roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Campbell?
Aye.
Councilmember Stepp?
Aye.
Councilmember Holman?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Loretano?
Aye.
Councilmember Osborne?
Aye.
Councilmember Pizzillo?
Aye.
Mayor Lord?
Aye.
Passes 7-0.
All right, thank you, Harry.
Thank you.
Next item is 7.5 to consider the preliminary plat for Hudson Commons. Again, Karen Craver, Planner 3 to present. Karen?
Thank you, Mayor. Hudson Commons is at the southwest corner of Estrella Parkway and Van Buren Street, across Estrella from CENTERRA Crossings in the CENTERRA single-family neighborhood. As I'm sure you'll recall, the Hudson Commons PAD included 3 land uses: the single-family parcel on the west, the commercial parcel at the immediate corner, and the multifamily parcel just to the south of that. This preliminary plat creates the 3 parcels for those 3 land uses. A separate single-family plat will be processed at a later date. The preliminary plat creates the development parcels for Hudson Commons. It creates access to those parcels, and it meets all city standards and regulations. Therefore, staff and the Planning Commission are recommending approval of the pre-plat, and we ask that council approve the pre-plat subject to steps. I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have on this pre-plat.
Thank you, Karen. Are there any speaker cards?
No, Mayor.
Would anybody in the audience like to speak? All right. Can I please have a motion and a second to approve the preliminary plat for Hudson Commons, subdividing 102.27 acres into 4 parcels? It's located at the southwest corner of Estrella Parkway and Van Buren Street, subject to stipulations. Do I hear a motion?
So moved. Second.
I heard a motion by Councilman Holman and a second by Vice Mayor Loretano. Open for council discussion. Councilman Zillo.
Just a general question, Karen. Is there anything on that commercial piece of property that looks like a potential build?
Mayor, if I may, Councilman Pizzillo, we actually have a site plan in process. It's currently being reviewed. It includes what they call a dual brand hotel, 2 different hotels in one connected building, as well as some commercial parcels around the Van Buren and Estrella frontages.
Additional commercial, would that be retail?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? All right.
I'm sorry, one question.
Yeah,
Do we
Councilman
know, is there
Osborne.
a phasing to this? In other words, would we see action probably on this commercial site prior to the single-family residential area?
Mayor, if I may, yes, that seemed to be the immediate focus of the property owners, to bring in this hotel development along with some additional commercial. The single family, the property is still being marketed to a single family home builder, so that will probably be a while before we have that in.
Thank you.
Any other? All right. Excuse me. Let's vote on this. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you very much, Karen.
Thank you.
Next item is 7.6 to consider El Cedro temporarily private tailwater mitigation easement and associated agreement. Rebecca Zook, Director of Engineering, will be presenting. Rebecca?
Well, that was certainly a mouthful, but very glad to be here before you this evening to present the DA for the El Cedro temporary retention basin located on city property. As part of these negotiations, as we began talking through the potential use of the city property, we also identified a number of other deal points for consideration by the city. I'm going to break this down into the El Cedro benefits and then the city benefits. So the first item is the LCDRO benefits, and that was the main theme behind the development agreement, which was the use of city property for a tailwater easement. There is tailwater coming from the north from one property owner, and that's the La Jolla Vista property. Over time, we have had some issues with tailwater. And in this situation, the engineering department reviewed this thoroughly to make sure that we would not have those same types of issues if we were to allow the use of the property. And this is because, again, this is for emergency overflow only. We had reviewed the engineering plans to make sure that there were a number of catches in the system before we would have the overflow into the basins. In addition, it's just one farmer that flows into this area, so there would be a direct access to that farmer if there was anything that was happening in the situation of tailwater actually going into the basin. Finally, the owner of El Cedro actually put in a lease with this particular farmer, so he actually controls that property. And then lastly, there is termination agreements within this development agreement if the basin is not kept up to standards with how it is operated, maintained, how it appears. There are a number of items mentioned in the development agreement. Now I'm going to jump onto the city benefits. We will, from El Cedro, obtain an existing agricultural well on their property. We will then be able to abandon that well and then utilize the withdrawal authority given by ADWR to drill another well within 660 feet. The El Cedro property has also provided us a piece of property, 100-foot by 100-foot well site at no cost to the city, located at the future alignment of 175th and El Cedro Drive. In addition, there's an existing water line easement on the El Cedro property. It's a 24-inch water line that's been there for approximately 20 years without an easement. This will allow us the ability to put it in an easement, and that is also at no cost to the city. The final item that is part of this development agreement is for the city to purchase about 2.5 acres of property south of the Site 12, existing city Site 12. It's an optimal location, and what I want to stress is the developer in their work was moving forward with selling this to a home builder, and through conversations with us actually stopped their contract with the home builder so that they could sell this property to us. The funds for that purchase are part of the existing CIP budget for Site 12 expansion, and it's labeled as WA 1502 in the existing budget we have today. It will be provided to us through a special warranty deed, which provides the property as free and clear for the city's use. Additional benefits were realized by working with Public Works Department because of the overall expansion opportunities they have for that Site 12. It was going to involve the upsizing of a proposed sewer line that El Cedro already has the existing sewer line in their development, and they're going to work with us to allow for an upsizing of that line, which was contemplated to already be needed by the city, and this will save significant costs to the city. In addition, we're going to work with our procurement office to put together a wrap so that we can select the existing engineer on the El Cedro project to do some design work for us in this same area, which will also have significant savings due to the fact that we won't have to redo the plans. They've already got survey, they've already got cut sheets, so there's a lot of savings there. A special note on the approval of this DA, it will allow for the recordation of El Cedro final plats that came before you this evening. This will activate the first West Goodyear cost recovery payment. So just under $1.3 million will be collected on behalf of this development and provided for the owner, the home builder that actually put those lines in 10 years ago. So this is a wonderful milestone we've reached. I would like to thank a number of people for their assistance on this. I would not be here this evening had it not been for the participation from the city attorney's office. In addition, there has been significant coordination with Public Works and with the developer. The developer is here this evening, Scott Moore with BET Investments and Jeff Bliley, the attorney with Buse Gilbert, and they're available to speak if you'd like to hear from them. Otherwise, they'll be here for questions. With that, I request approval of the temporary retention basin for the DA for El Cedro.
Thank you. Are there any speaker cards?
No, Mayor.
Would anybody in the audience like to speak? Would you like them to speak at this moment? That's fine.
Bless you.
Mayor, members of the council, Jeff Bliley, 701 North 44th Street. I'll be brief, and I can't answer any questions you might have. I just wanted to thank staff immensely for their help. We've been under some time crunch on this issue, and we've gotten a lot done over the last 2 weeks to get this on the agenda tonight. So I really appreciate everything that Rebecca's done, the city attorney's office has done, Chris has done. I mean, I work with a lot of cities, and I don't get this kind of cooperation very often from staff when we're trying to get something done. So we really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Yes, hello.
Thank you, Mayor and council. I was actually going to say the very same thing.
Okay.
It's been amazing working with Rebecca and all of the staff and for the council and the mayor to support this project for as many years as we've been owning it and trying to move it forward. I think we're finally there. We're excited. Thank you.
Will the city clerk then read Resolution 17-1778 by title only, please?
Adopt resolution number 17-1778, approving the development agreement regarding a temporary retention basin on approximately 4.4 acres, the expansion of the water campus just south of Lower Buckeye Road along 173rd Avenue, which includes the purchase of land just south of the water campus, the acquisition of the rights to an existing agricultural well, acceptance of a water line easement between the water campus to Lower Buckeye Road, and accepting the replacement well site A, providing authorization for correction of Scrivener errors, providing authorization and direction to take actions and execute documents necessary to carry out intent of resolution and the development agreement, and providing for an effective date.
Thank you. Could I have a motion and a second, please?
So moved. Second.
I heard a motion by Councilman Campbell and a second by Councilman Osborne. Open for council discussion. Oh, Councilman Campbell.
I am so excited, Rebecca. Thank you so much. And to the developers and everyone that worked on this project, it's going to be a wonderful event for us to finally start in the West Goodyear area. So thank you so much. And we appreciate all that you did.
Any other comments? I would like to say thank you also. It's been a long time. I've known this since I've been on council, so it's nice to see it come forward and that we are able to partnership. And I guess an example of what you have done for the partnership, with each side has done and is going to do, is pretty extraordinary. And it certainly builds the confidence in people coming in and opening business and building homes in our city. So thank you all to the staff. So let's have a roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Stipp?
Aye.
Councilmember Holman?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Loretano?
Aye.
Councilmember Osborne?
Aye.
Councilmember Pizzillo?
Aye.
Councilmember Campbell?
Aye.
Mayor Lord?
Aye.
Passes 7-0.
Great. The next item business is 7.7 to consider authorizing the expenditure for re-drilling well 19 and well 18. Barbara Chappell? Is that how you pronounce? Is that how you do, Barbara? Sorry about that. A utilities operation manager. Why don't you just go ahead and tell me how it really is supposed to sound?
It's chapel.
Chapel. Oh, like
Yeah, just like
chapel on time. There's a song about that. Well, I'll remember that then. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Good evening, Mayor and Council. I'm here this evening to request an expenditure for just over $1.7 million for the redrill of well 18A and 19. This request also comes with a budget transfer of $900,000 and a request to carry over any funds that aren't expended this fiscal year. So for starters, I'd like to bring up, this is the location of well 18A. It is on the south side of Interstate 10, west of Desert Road. This project was approved through the CIP and is project WA 1713, and it has adequate funding in its budget. The second well, well 19, was scheduled for some periodic maintenance. as Project WA 1715. During the inspection portion of our rehabilitation, we discovered that the casing was damaged beyond repair and that the well would need to be re-drilled. It was at that time that we realized that the site, it was in the red square here, was too small to accommodate the re-drilling within 50 feet. And you may remember that back on February 13th, there was an item before you for a letter of intent to purchase that additional property shown in yellow to accommodate that re-drilling. I'm happy to report that we have a tentative closing date on the 17th, so we can move that project forward. So due to those the extent of the repairs required, I'm also requesting a $900,000 budget transfer from Project WA 1714. The city has an existing contract with Weber Water Resources with a scope that includes this type of work. So this evening we're requesting that expenditure with them. All of these projects are part of our 5-year rate plan as approved by council in October of 2015. And while some of our projects have changed in scope, we've also been able to combine others and experience in economies of scale. And I would like to point out that our bottom line in yellow here has still remained consistent with what was approved by council in October of 2015. Finally, due to this request coming after the cutoff date for our carryover requests, we're requesting that any of the money that we haven't expended this year because the construction hasn't been completed, that we get to carry those funds over so that we can see this project through completion. So with that, I appreciate your time and attention this evening, and I can answer any questions that you might have.
Thank you, Ms. Chappell. Are there any speaker cards?
No, Mayor.
Would anybody in the audience like to speak? All right, then could I have a motion and a second to authorize the expenditure for redrilling well 19, located at 15354 West Van Buren Street, and well 18A, located at 1761 North Palo Verde Drive, in the amount of $1,742,333.75. Additionally, approved the $900,000 FY budget transfer of water bond funds from Project WA 1714 to the Project WA 1715, and authorize the FY 18 budget transfer to carry over funds not expended in FY 17. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Second.
I heard a motion by Councilman Osborne, a second by Vice Mayor Loretano. Open for council discussion. Start on this side this time. No discussion. I'm on this side. Councilman Stipp.
Barbara, can you put the last chart that you had up, the CIP chart? This is the CIP that we approved in 2015.
These are the rate-funded projects that were designed for the existing system, not growth-related CIP. This was for the existing, yes.
Okay, and you said that you made the statement that we'll stay within that 37.5 million. You may not be able to answer it tonight, but I'm curious on all of these projects, since they were approved a couple of years ago under the rate structure, is where did we end up with all of them? Are we under? Are we over? And how does that, budgeted versus actual? I think that would be helpful for us if we're talking about this and we're talking about moving the monies forward, and we said we're not going to exceed it, which is good news. But the other side of that is we should probably know where we're at in each of these projects, because that seems to be the piece that we never get to bring to the end. We always approve the budget, and then some of these things take a number of years, and we don't get to find out whether it came in under, over, on target. So I don't know if you have an answer now or if it's something we can do later. I'm good with that.
I think you'll also, as we present our enterprise fund budgets this evening, you're going to see some other things that are changing for the new, larger surface water plant.
Right, and I would expect with that we're going to see significant changes. But on these items right here on this particular document that it's a piece of paper that you have, if we can see what it looks like, what we've come up with.
So the bottom line there you see in blue, that was the way the plan was proposed in the October 2015. And then the line just above it is how we're actually delivering those projects.
So the line above it is the actuals?
So, well, except for the future, the 18, 19, and 20, those are projected, but.
Okay.
So that satisfies you?
Yeah, this may be an offline conversation then. Okay.
Okay. Any other discussion? All right, let's vote on it. All in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you very much. All right, we're going to 7.8 to consider adopting the 2018-2020 strategic plan. Pam Moyer, Assistant to the City Manager, will present. Weir.
Good evening, Mayor Lord, members of council. Thank you for.
Hang on one second.
What?
I'd like to make a motion to table this item for further information before we continue with the presentation.
You want to
I want to table it
You want to table it.
for another meeting. I've got 10 million questions about this, and I made the request earlier today and did not hear anything back. So I'd like to request that we
And
table
you were the
it.
only one that requested it. You didn't get.
Yeah. So I'm
Well,
going to make a
I'm
motion
not-
to table it. If
okay,
there's a second, we'll.
Does anybody want to second that?
Sure, I'll second.
Yeah, I'll second it.
Okay, so Joe, you seconded. Okay, so roll call vote on favor of, because I don't have
Now
it.
there's discussion.
All right, discussion.
Okay, so since I made the motion, here's the deal. We've been kicking this thing around for a year and a half, and it's not Pam's fault. We're trying to get this thing over the finish line. There's conflicting language in the document. We talk about goals, but we don't use goal words there's just a lot of confusing pieces. And my biggest concern is tonight we are going to, if we take this all the way through to the end, we're going to pass a resolution. I mean, it's a resolution that we're adopting this document. And if the document isn't where we need it to be, then we shouldn't be passing a resolution to adopt it. And that's my big concern with this particular item tonight, and why tabling it for another date. It doesn't seem to have any impact on our future budget discussions. It doesn't seem to be slowing any of that down. So if we wait a month or 2 months or whatever the time is and try to get it closer to right, then I think we're okay. That's my only reason for moving it in this direction.
Vice Mayor?
I don't have a problem. I know Pam's worked really, really hard on this throughout and everything. And obviously, if Councilmember Stipp has numerous questions, maybe when we move it, we should maybe move it back to a work session. If you've got that many questions, and maybe we could do something what we did for the budget, where anyone could submit the questions so we would know your answers ahead of time. I don't know what your questions are.
I don't either. And then I see heads on the left of me saying, yes, they agree with you, Bill. So I was unaware that there was a question on this. Councilman Osborne, you have anything?
Well, I certainly can understand and agree that this is a resolution. And so if there is a great deal of discussion, then I can understand. Thank you, Pam, that we table it and vet it out even further.
So you're feeling, the rest of your feeling there is discussion to be made?
Sounds like it, yes.
Okay. All right. That's what it sounds like. Yes.
I think the Vice Mayor said, but it'd be helpful if Councilmember Stipp would put those questions down so we could always see. So ahead of the time, if we're going to have a work session, whatever the case may be, we know what those questions are.
I don't know what they
I don't
are.
know what they are
so
either.
I'm kind of caught at a disadvantage here.
If I may, I think what might be helpful is if I bring these to the manager and the staff, and then we give you a red line version, because a lot of it is about semantics. And if you just take, Webster's dictionary definition of the word goal, we don't, and that's what our strategic plan is peppered with, we don't meet it. So, I mean, it's a matter of words matter. So I think the simple thing would be to redline it with those suggested changes, and then you'll know Because, I mean, we can sit here and go, well, where's this? Where's this? Where's this? What does this word mean? What about that? And if we're going to put it in a resolution, that means it's pretty important that we pass the right thing.
All right, so we need a motion on this, right?
So we've done the motion.
Motion, you just need a vote.
We've done the motion, so just vote. So just do well, I'm just going to say all in favor, say aye. Is that all right? I can do that way? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. All right, so we're going to postpone that to another. So that shortened your evening for sure, Pam. Okay, so then what we're going to do is we're at the end of the council meeting, and we will be coming back here. We'll take a short break to finish the work session. So what, 15 minutes is enough for everybody? Is that of a break? All right. All right, so I'm going to close this meeting.
Mayor, you want to do the information items?
Oh, or you want to do those now? Okay. I thought I could pull them in on the work session, same thing they asked, but go ahead. So anybody on the council have any comments, commendations, reports?
I have a little one. I wonder if the city manager can give us an update, not tonight, on how we're doing at getting a better PA system and everything. I mean,
okay, that's not current events, but you want the city manager.
Yeah, just an update.
Mayor, and absolutely. We do have a new system that we purchased. We're just waiting for time on the court schedule to be able to install those. So we will have new speakers. We're looking at sometime in as early as this month, or if not, it'll be in May.
Well, I noticed that when the mayor was doing her proclamation and having to hold that, I noticed that some of the audience was kind of leaning forward to hear her even more.
It wasn't that loud tonight when I spoke.
No, it wasn't that loud. So I just want, if our public comes, I want them to hear every word we say clearly, please, if we can do it. Have we thought of looping this room at all? Because we can get it looped free if we wanted to loop it for the deaf and hard of hearing.
Mayor and Councilmember Campbell, we can get information back to council since this isn't on the agenda, but we do have a system we purchased, and we'll let council know how that can work.
Okay.
And then any other opportunities down the road as well.
Okay, I'm on one of the boards, and my secretary of my board that I'm chair of is the state representative for the deaf and hard of hearing, and she goes around to council chambers, and they just got it installed in the House of Representatives for the deaf and hard of hearing, and it's a wonderful loop, and it makes all the difference in the world, and it was done free. So I just want to throw that out to you.
Thank you.
So let me just rephrase this. Does anybody that's on one, does anybody have council comments or accommodations, reports? Okay, so let's go back to the number one. Councilman Osborne.
I just want to thank our staff that came out for building blocks and did presentations for the principals and superintendents. You guys did a really good job, and I think that they really appreciate getting to hear from you and know what's going on in the city, and I think that's very important. And, you know, every year I always hear from them that they really appreciate the time that they have together with us all and discuss what's going on. They did also, some of the superintendents also ask city manager that you have another meeting together and talk about things that are going on with items that, you know, are specific to the district. So I would like you to know that. The other thing is that I did attend over at REI. GPEC was having an asset tour of REI, and it's just so wonderful to be there. And I tell you, the standard that they have set for that area is incredible. And being a platinum LEED building, but almost, I think they said in 5 years will be net neutral on energy, and a 400,000 square foot building that is net neutral in energy is something pretty exciting. So it was really cool, and to get to brag that it's in our city, that was pretty neat. And again, the volunteers, you know, we can't say thanks enough to our city volunteers, and that was a great event you guys put on.
Vice Mayor?
There's two things. Thank you all. I want to thank everyone who helped with Sky Kids this year. I stopped in there, and we had police and fire out with everything, which was wonderful. And Lynette was serving cookies. She was the cookie lady. So I want to thank, people don't realize that our city management goes out there and helps too. And I think that's important. And then the other thing I want to say, and Kylene's not here, but the Good Cheer Lakeside Music Fest, the Glam Fest, was absolutely wonderful. We were out there in the morning. We came back out in the evening. We had some friends of ours, kids were in a band, and it was just absolutely wonderful. A great event. Everyone had a blast. There were people all the way from, up north of Phoenix. I talked to a couple of people from like Mesa that came over, Peoria. So I think it's really becoming a signature event. So I want to thank her and the Arts and Cultural Committee and everybody who worked and volunteered there, because that was just a blast.
Sherry, really, really appreciate you taking my place and being there. I'm sorry that I couldn't be there. It's the first one I've missed in an awful long time, but I heard you did a great job, and I thank you very much for representing me. Councilman, oh, it's not Pizzillo. Okay. It's Pizzillo, not Stipp. Yes, go ahead.
Sorry I was unable to get to the Sky Kids. I was teaching a class over at Stray at the time, but I did make it to the festival, the music festival, and I enjoyed myself there. I got to see the Screaming Javelinas. First time I've ever seen them, so that was a blast. But the thing I'm really proud about this community, and I say it whenever I have a chance, and everybody knows it, sometimes it sounds like a broken record, but our volunteers, the Volunteers Appreciation Night, fantastic. What would we have, a couple hundred people there at least, would you say?
There, so I don't know.
A couple hundred, Joanne, what do you think, about a couple hundred?
Oh,
volunteer appreciation.
Volunteer. I thought
yeah.
you meant
no, the volunteer appreciation, and it was great. I mean, to see the awards of the individuals that have stepped up, given of their time. The thing that's most impressive, at least from my perspective, is during our Great Recession, it kind of kicked off. They got help bail us out of some of that as far as stepping up, and now it's about over $500,000 annually, and I think there was close to 30,000 hours, somewhere between 25 and 30,000 hours. That's the kind of impact our community has. Those are people in our community that actually step up and help, and I say that everywhere I go. So proud of this community, because whenever we need something, our community steps up and fills in. So again, I always like to say, it's corny, tip of the hat to our volunteers, because without them, we would be just a collection of neighborhoods, not a community.
Anybody else?
Yes.
Yes, Councilman Stipp.
I don't know if anyone else is going to speak to the Paul Goldschmidt Field thing that
Go ahead. That's
number of
great.
us were at. I'm going to leave my comments personal, and then if anyone else wants to chime in about how awesome it was. But I had a face-to-face with Nathan, and one of the things that I think we risk sitting up here is we talk about one great thing, and then we kind of diss everybody else, and I don't mean that to be the case. If you've ever given a speech and you're thanking people, you leave that one person out, then that person feels horrible and you feel bad for leaving them out. So please, no one take offense to this. But that event, when I think of all the things that I thought about I was going to touch and be involved in when I got on the city council, that never came to my mind. Now, I got to be honest with you, neither did the cows when I first came on, 6 years ago either.
The great
Another
comparison,
great day.
if
But,
I may say.
The Diamondbacks, I'm not going to say it right, Diamondbacks to the community or something anyway, was a great, not just an event, but it's a great thing to have in the city. And that day I was filled with a lot of pride. And I'm not sure why that struck me that way. I'm not a huge baseball fan. I'm not, my mother-in-law was more impressed that I got to shake Paul Goldschmidt's hand than probably anything else. But other than that, it was a huge event for us, and something that we should be very proud of, and certainly ought to be a marquee thing that we talk about for the next couple of months, because it's really a wonderful thing. And Nathan, I expressed to him directly that, asked that he share that with his staff, but that how very much I appreciated their work and their dedication to get that done. And I know that it wasn't just Parks and Rec staff that got it done, that I'm sure the engineering, and I know PD was out there and fire was out there, and that of course then comes to everyone on staff. And we couldn't have done it without the money people and blah, blah, blah. So it was a great event. So from the bottom of my heart, I wanted to express that once again to Nathan and the staff. The other thing that I had the opportunity to participate in this past week was the public safety retirement system. We had 2 board meetings this past week, and we accepted the retirement applications for 2 20-plus year employees at the city, Officer Bill Will and Captain Brandon Husky. And, we did a great thing tonight by recognizing, Joe Husband. As I was sitting here thinking about that, it really kind of dawned on me, we never recognize our 20-year employees who are retiring, and we need to do a better job of that. If our human resources are truly our most important asset, then we need to be dragging those guys up here in their last week before they leave and say thank you very much and show that same level of appreciation. I get to see every public safety person that retires, but I know HR gets to see all the rest of them. But we've lost a couple. We're losing, those 20-plus year veterans on the police and fire, and I think we need to start doing something for them.
I'm hearing the back talk here, and I think everybody agrees with you on that. So we probably need to do something with that program. I know some of us attend the retirement programs they have, but it's not in a public forum. So that would be great. So, and any other things? Yes, Vice Mayor.
I just want to add to what Bill said about the Goldschmidt Field. I don't know how many people told us what a great job that working with the Goodyear staff was the best staff that they had worked with in, 39 fields that they set up. So I want the public to know that is how good our staff is all around, from top to bottom.
That's true. Absolutely. That's all the compliments were towards our staff. Councilman Holman.
I just wanted to say I had driven by that field over the last few years a number of times and had no idea so much could be done with that property. When I drove up to that and saw the wonderful parking lot and the wonderful ball field and what had been done there, it literally took my breath away. It's not only the connection with the Diamondbacks and APS, but it also is an absolutely glorious thing for that neighborhood to have. I can see it as a real connective to that neighborhood because it was so barren and hard to use. The parking was tough, and so, and just on a kind of comical note, I had lunch with my daughter the next day. She lives as far northeast as I live southwest, and she said, "You had who out there? You met who yesterday? I just want you to know that's going to be the name of my next dog." So, for what it would be worth to Paul Goldschmidt, he has a namesake in McDowell Mountain Ranch.
He's a pretty outstanding young man and outstanding family, and the whole connection was great. All right, do you have any summary, City Manager? Give to the council.
Yeah, Mayor and Council, I have a couple of follow-up items and then a couple of announcements as well. So, for the council meeting, it was requested that we provide a list of Cactus League attendance by team, not just by ballpark. So we'll be following up on that. Additionally, we'll be following up with Councilmember Stipp on redlining the draft strategic plan. So those were the follow-ups that we had. There was comment from a council member on recognizing employees at 20 years of service. If that's something that council's interested, it'd be good to get head nods. That's first step. And the second, do they even want to be here on a night? But that's their call as well. But I do want to point out that Brandon Husky, and thank you for bringing that up, Councilmember Stipp, this Thursday from 3 to 4, we are recognizing Captain Brandon Husky for his 20 years of service. And that will be over at the Fire Administration Building. If you're available, that would be terrific. But would want to see if, just kind of a standard of practice, if council would want to extend an invitation for 20 years of service, and that'd be for all employees. I'm seeing a lot of heads nod. Okay, so that'll be a follow-up item as well. I had to laugh a little bit. Goldsmith is having a dog named after him. Interesting. There were comments on the Lakeside Music Fest, and thank you for that. And just in terms of numbers, and we'll get out more details as well, but we had 7,000 people in attendance. And that was a 21% increase from last year where we had about 5,000. So really, 2 points made by council really is catching on, and it's a great event. We also have, for this week, we have National Public Safety Telecommunications Week. So that's the week of 9th through the 15th. And it marks the time of year where we actually recognize, formally acknowledge the contributions and sacrifices for our telecommunicators. We know that they're critical to public safety, and they do such a terrific job for us. So we want to thank them for their commitment and dedication throughout this week, and certainly every day of the year. As a reminder, we have our employee spring picnic this week. It is over at Loma Linda Park, starts at 11 o'clock, and so you're welcome to attend that too. It is a Western theme. If you have a cowboy hat, great. If you don't, ball caps work as well. But Mayor and Council, that's what I have for follow-up and announcements.
Session. This meeting is adjourned.